tell us your name, a little about what you do and who you are, your passion in life, anything like that.
Ebenezer, one of the slaves on the plantation, and we farm the cane, cut the cane, take the cane to the mill, and my main aim in life is to kill the slave master.
We knew he was going to go there. That's just in his character. It's just a character.
My name is John Williams. I don't know how I become John Williams, but from the time I was that high, everybody called me John Williams. I'm a cane cutter. I cut cane. I do all the chores around the big house, and I look after the ladies sometimes.
That's putting it mildly. Sorry, John, how many children you have? How many children you have?
I have 24 children.
I'm Martha. Believe it or not, I'm number 18 of the 24. I live with my grandmother and my father live with us. I'm quite young in age, but I'm very wise because I got a lot of teachings and learnings from my grandmother. My role in life really is just to love my brother. I wash for him, I cook for him. Can't you see how big and strong he is? And because he's a community elder, we all make sure that he's the one who's going to grow us in our community. The one who has all the messages and good advice for us.
Thank you very much. And now we're just going to go through some of the scenes that we explored with these characters, just putting them in different situations. So first of all, we just got to have a look at the men working in the field. Of course, it wasn't all joy. Of course, singing was used, obviously, to keep your spirits high, and people would help each other. As the brother said, a communal spirit was very strong. And so sometimes women would bring extra food, sometimes officially or unofficially, into the field. And contrary to popular opinion, slaves didn't always sing in tune.
Cut them one by one, cut them two by two. Oh, you come and see me.
Yes. It's all right. I've got your food for you.
Yeah? Where you bring?
Pepsi.
Oh.
Ebenezer, Dodo sent some food for you as well.
You want?
Dodo sent some food for you. Some lovely flying fine fish.
You have any water? Give me a drink of water. Some tasty. I've been here from Monday. I cut this cake. Thank you very much.
You want water there, Ebenezer?
Yes.
Ebenezer.
Yeah.
Water.
So what you have? Burning up inside, you know. So what kind of food is this for water?
All sorts of things they have got for you.
Yeah?
Sit down, Papa. Let me feed you.
Excuse me. Yeah, man, this food is nice. And who teach you cook this food?
You know you teach me how to cook it, Papa.
Eh?
You like the turf car?
Yeah, man, give me water, man. I'm going to this side. Ah, this food is nice, eh? You're building trying to kill the white man.
Yes. But I hope I'm also building up your strength for Dodo.
Well, you have to always present children, you know.
Only if you play your cards right, Ebenezer, and stop messing about.
No, man, I'm looking after you, man.
How are you doing that? You've never brought her a present or a gift. A woman likes something nice.
Well, the lady is selling some straw hat. I'm going to buy one to keep the sun out your face.
That would be really, really nice thing for you to do, because you know, I think she really likes you.
Yeah, but I was after no more.
Don't play the fool, because you'll have a rival.
How what? How many rival?
Oh,
The
stop it.
African man. I am
What?
You know the African.
The African
The
man.
one who just come from the farm.
So, Dodo,
Same as Prince.
Prince what? Which your prince?
Oh, well.
Where do you have to come out of?
You know what, man?
No, man.
Where you offending us?
But anyway, you don't want to look out for the African man. And
See.
you don't
We? No, you man.
You can help me, you have a friend.
Even in slave communities, sometimes outside, well, many times outsiders were treated with great suspicion and prejudice.
You want to help me?
Me help you.
You want to put some rich man in mind? Kill one, you're going to plan to kill the master, kill yourself.
Okay, the master is passing by, and the slaves have to return to work. Later, that same day,
Ebenezer, you don't hear what happened?
What?
Boy, something awful's happened to your girlfriend, Dodo.
What?
You know here.
What?
You know that father of hers? That supposed man in the big house?
Yeah, what?
Well, he beat her.
How do you mean?
Cut off she back.
Well,
Wheel up she skin.
you're not going to
No, me not joke. And you're going to put her on the
Well,
treadmill.
you want to kill him long time.
Well, you
And
have
this
to
time I
do
don't
something.
know you to kill him.
Why? You know what he's accused her of?
What?
Thieving all that money that she's been saving.
Don't ain't a thief. Don't ain't a thief. And if the master beat her, me gonna kill him. Give me more reason to kill him.
I know my friend is not a thief. In fact, this morning when I went there, she showed me the money. Enough money.
So, she showed you the money.
She showed me the money.
Well, Doro ain't a thief, and Doro ain't thief the money.
so Martha better go and find out who else knew about this money.
Who else will thief the money for Doro not thief the money? Hey, hold on a minute. She tell you where the money there.
She tell me where the money is.
So, it look like it could be you. No, because, look, hold on a minute. Doro ain't a thief. And if Doro tell where the money there, I gotta think twice. Because it could be you, you know.
Well, you know something?
It could be you. No, hold on a minute.
There's only one person I told
Who is
where
that?
the money was.
Who's that one person? Who?
And John, his dad. I told him where the money was.
So you tell me for where the money there?
Yes.
So, hey, here, man. Look, you suppose I'm a friend.
Of course, no, you have to. What
So you thief the money?
thief that money?
You thief the money?
Which money? What money are you telling me
The
about?
money that don't have free father.
Me thief the money?
You don't mean your friend.
Me and
You
your
promised me.
Yes.
I'm watching you damn right. And you will thief the money. No, hold on a minute, man. Look, you thief the money. Yeah, man, you thief the damn money.
Ebenezer,
Yes,
leave
you
it to
money.
me. I will find out. I will find out. Ebenezer! Ebenezer! Ebenezer!
Martha, ask your papa where the money is. No, wait, we have to find out the truth. We've got to find out the truth. Wait.
Papa! Papa!
No.
Papa! Serious business now!
No.
You know what money is that you are a community leader. And your role in life is to protect us. Now look what your actions have done. Did you take the money? Did you take the money? Did you take the money?
Let's find out. No, wait. Is you took the money?
Yes.
Where is the money? Ask him why. Why would you take that money?
Before you say anything, I'm not going to kill the master. You want to kill me for the master.
I don't want to kill you. So, why you take the money?
Explain to everybody who's listening why you take the people their money and let the girl get beaten.
Well, you know like how you bring me nice food. Every day you come, you wash the clothes, you do all the chores for me, you make me feel nice, and you don't have nothing. So I take the money and I give you.
Hey! Don't lay that one on me! You're supposed to be the responsible person in this community. But look what your actions have done to poor Dodo, a young 17-year-old girl.
You are not the only one. You are not the only one who can.
Come, let me go say
You are not the only one who gets money. All the slaves them out there who slave and work hard. I keep the money and I give you some and I give them some too. So why not? Why not they get like? Why not the slave like name you?
John,
That doesn't excuse your bad behavior.
John, you know we was building up to something. Some shop planning things. Now this can mash things up. Just because of one person. Everybody has to pay.
Well, only 2 people was going away anyway. Only 2 of them was going.
Martha, you staying with this man or you coming with us to help Dodo?
I'm coming with you. I have no reason to stay and no that man no more.
So you don't love me no more then? So you don't love me no more?
That's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. In the new year, we hope to be doing more drama. It's just unfortunate that some other members of the cast couldn't be here for us to do the whole thing, but I thought the 3 members did very well to vehicle the story. And attached to 2007 is a vision.
Well, in a community where the people have no vision, they will certainly perish. Our forefathers have struggled and fought for the freedom. And everyone knows, everybody knows. But, you know, as I say, in a community where the people have no vision, they'll perish. And that is why we had the foresight to make sure when we understood 2007 will be the bicentenary of the transatlantic slave trade, which will give you some more detailed information about that. We have got together, a group of us in this community, and organized a program for the whole of 2007 that will make people recognize what we, our forefathers, went through. And if you don't know, check it out. would understand why Britain it took them such a long time to abolish slavery. Because 90% of the wealth of this country came from the Caribbean slaves. You don't want to believe me, you check it out. And we, as a people, we educate about what I'm an African born in the Caribbean. You tell me about after slavery. But before slavery, we were kings and queens living in palaces and wearing silk and satin. Yes. We have made this world a pleasant place for some. And we're going to make sure we put the record right. But later on, you will hear more details of it. And thank you very much for supporting Black History Month in the West Indies Center here in Leeds. And we are grateful for the children, the parents of the children, and the supporters. While we have such stuff, we have a legacy that will live on, which we'll hear about. Thanks very much.
This is Shirley, this is Ursula, and my name is Joyce. We're going to sing 3 songs for you. The first one is All Around. The words say, everywhere I look, your love is all around. So we want you to join with us. You can stand to your feet, you can clap if you want to, but we want you to participate with us.
All around.
people in Leeds have a lot to be proud of, because it's only in Leeds that the group put a program together to remember the sacrifice our forefathers made for the freedom that we are now enjoying. And some of you will remember, some of you were there last year, November, when we called the first meeting. And it seemed that it could not have happened. Because funny, when I was invited to the Lottery Heritage for something else, and I explained to them my passion is 2007, and they asked me why. And I said because it will make 200 years of the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade. And people seem to remember we people of African descendants of what we cannot do instead of what we can do. And a lot of people had it as a joke. And we did manage. We've got people in this community that you pass every day. You wouldn't even recognize it, but you're surprised to know the potential, the skills, and the commitment they've got. I'm an optimist, and I find some people who think like me, and we were able, we had a deadline we were working to, 3 months, to put a document representing £1 million, went over £1 million in 3 months, and that took some work. We worked something 5 days a week. We've been having meetings, and we can be very, apart from a friendly atmosphere, we could be very hostile, because if you want something done and people lagging, you sometimes have to put the boat over behind. And they understood that, and it did work. And they were surprised by the end of March we could have handed in this project. But because the lottery have never made involved in such a project at such a price, we had to go back and rewrite it and bring it under £500,000. And we managed to do that. And now some people are chicken out and said, bloody hell, we spent 3 months struggling to get out and then going over it again. But those of you realize that system being made to frustrate you. And once you frustrate, you drop out, you solve the problem, you move on to the other one. But we as people, descendants from slavery, all who look like me, your parents, your foreparents didn't buy a ticket to leave Africa, they was kidnapped and chained. So some of us want to get this thing right. And we worked together and got the project together, and we, being the only group in this country who's done a project like this, have been awarded £408,000 from the Lottery Heritage. Some of the money that you and me been playing every week, you get me back some of it. And the whole group is not here. We went away. This is the document. It will be going up on the internet soon, and you could be able to look at it. We have to set up, because it has to hinge on education. So we set up an education group, subgroup, a religious subgroup, an art and culture, a media, and a legacy. Because you cannot spend £500,000 for a year and shut it down. So a legacy group will take it on. And when we got here this afternoon, I'll ask Joe William, one of the, we had to bring in a steering group, because you need a smaller group to get the whole thing sorted out. The full group couldn't do it, it would waste too much time. So I'll ask Joe to read out the mission statement for you.
Thank you, Arthur. The Leeds Bicentenary Transformation Project is a collaborative community initiative in Leeds to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the Parliamentary Act to end the kidnapping, capture, and transportation of African people. In 2007, we will celebrate the invaluable contributions of African peoples to worldwide civilization human antiquity to modern societies. Contributions of African peoples to self-liberation. Olaudah Equiano is a proud example, and he fought against slavery very hard here in this country. We fought during and after enslavement for freedom. And we will also celebrate the contributions of African peoples to British European cultural and economic growth during the past 400 years. Abolitionist Olaudah Equiano and many other Africans transformed themselves from enslavement into beacons of light for democracy and social justice. Citizens of Yorkshire also became celebrated campaigners for local and global human rights. I'll just mention one gentleman, a Quaker from Leeds, the only European that I know of, who wrote positive information about people of African descent. His name was Wilson Armistead, and he published a book with over 150 biographies of people of African descent who had achieved from little things to very, very big, important, global, impacting things. And that's very rare. So we've got to celebrate the good in people, especially if they're local as well. Similar to other parts of Europe, Yorkshire benefited economically from transatlantic trade routes. Something I learned recently from the history and research group I belong to is that Yorkshire sent out bump caps to the plantations for the slaves. So it seems quite ironic when we wore our woolly caps and they called it tea closes. They didn't really realize the history that it came from this region in the first place. By 1807, Britain transformed itself from a slave trading sovereignty into a proud anti-slavery nation. Many of us are aware that slavery, in lesser forms, still exists today. It has never stopped in Africa and other continents. Also significant are the socio-economic and psychological legacies of transatlantic enslavement, which continues to bring trauma and misery to displaced millions. In 2007, Leeds will also commemorate the 800-year-old charter that transformed a small market town into a thriving city of commerce and opportunity. People have asked, why have we mentioned this on the leaflet? But because for the past 400 years of these 800 of Leeds as a trading town, the past 400 has been the most profitable and has seen the most growth. And there's no accident. It is linked to transatlantic trade, largely through the Leeds and Liverpool Canal and the large trade that the Port of Liverpool was doing in regard to transatlantic trade. 2007 will also see the Leeds West Indian Carnival, the oldest Caribbean carnival in Europe, celebrate its 40th anniversary. Themes in this year's carnival will highlight the significance of heritage, liberation, respect, and freedom. We want to thank all the community who have supported us in so many ways over a very trying year where we didn't know whether we were going to get it and we were being asked to start again in some cases, and it makes you very despondent and you just feel like giving up. And I'm very proud of the group and of the community for keeping going, and as Arthur rightly says, we are the only grassroots organisation to receive such a grant. It's quite significant. So we thank the Heritage Lottery Fund and the Roundtrees Charity Trust. Next year we will deliver a year-long programme of informative and entertaining activities to include schools, museums, churches, the arts and communities, participating in exhibitions, scholarships, conventions, trips, talks, lectures, training, performances, carnivals and more. So please, listen out and watch this space for further publicity. But most importantly is our launch on January the 25th at the Civic Hall, kicking off at 11 a.m.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we will have Dr. Carl Hilton, who is the lead person in the Arts and Culture Group, will come and give a rundown on that area. Just give a
a rundown on all of it, a little bit all of it. Yeah, okay. Joe mentioned the launch, which is the 25th, that's fine. But there's also going to be a church service as well. But it's not going to be just a religious service. It's going to be ecumenical, I think it's called, in terms of perhaps Rastafarians and perhaps Muslims being involved, because that also includes us, everyone, not just in terms of Christian. So that's going to be on the 25th of March, and of course it's going to be in St. Aidan's Church. It's in the parish church. Okay, my mistake then. Could you say that?
No, the service, the 25th of March is in parish church, the collective of churches. But the bicentennial service will be the 5th of August at St. Aidan's Church.
Okay, my mistake. Okay, there'll also be an agitprop, which Joe will obviously be involved in. And that agitprop is going to be a street theatre where we're going to take action, perhaps just three or four actors, reenacting some of the stories from enslavement. And that's going to be in the city centre, but also perhaps locally as well. And that will be in Leeds, I think Huddersfield, and Bradford as well. There'll be carnival workshops. There'll be 2 troops which will be sponsored by the funding that we've got. 2 troops. That's 100 people a troop. That's 200 people will be sponsored. And of course, it will be about enslavement. It will be about transformation. There'll be workshops, practical workshops, but also theoretical workshops as well, in terms of history and making the costumes. And those things will actually happen, obviously, here around the Chapel Town area. There'll be writers in residence, looking in schools. We're particularly targeting the Stephen Lawrence schools, but we're going beyond the Stephen Lawrence schools as well. Going into schools, they'll produce booklets, curriculum work, which will be used next year, but also be used for ongoing as well. So it's not just a year's project, it's for the future. Another key thing that we'll be doing is be linking with the museums. In Leeds Museum, in the storage areas, there's loads and loads of material related to us. We know there's been plundered, but also stuff has been given. So the new museum that's coming up will have young people going into the museum, selecting those articles, knowing about the history of those articles, presenting those articles, African material, and taking it around on a temporary exhibition, which will tour around the city and outside the city, and eventually it will lead to a permanent exhibition in the new museum, an African project within that museum. We'll have curriculum packs, also in terms of looking wider than our African content in the Caribbean, in terms of after the end of slavery, which was the 1830s. A lot of people were indentured, were taken basically from India. Thousands and thousands of people came to the Caribbean from India. And we'll be looking into that field as well, looking into the idea of why they came, how they survived. That we eventually end up with a photographic exhibition there around that area. In terms of the religious service as well, there'll be information about John Newton. John Newton was started off as a slaver. Then he must have turned, because he wrote Amazing Grace. He became a more passionate and anti-slaver. And we'll be looking around his life and trying to celebrate what happened to him. Another key thing I know in terms of the religious side is also looking at Africans in the Bible. So we're looking at a quiz around that area, a Bible trail, journals, website, and loads of information around that. Some of it will only last a year, but some of it will also last 18 months. And I'm very, very passionate about it. And I know that what we're doing now is trying to get the collective group together in terms of who the people who are actually going to deliver the project, key workers. Thank you very much.
As Dr. Carl Hilton, I think the people in Leeds should hold their head high. So I go around the country, and especially when you go to London, they're very envious for what we've got in Leeds. Because they're saying, we brought carnival to Europe, and now we're bringing the bicentenary. With all the legacy they've got, they couldn't do. And so we in Leeds should be proud. Give yourself a round of applause in Leeds for what you're doing. As we say, we are the only group in this country who have a center like this. And we take this center for granted, but we should be proud of it. And this is our mecca. So we can come in here and spend as long as we like, talk about what we like, and have our culture. We have a unique orchestra here, we have choir, and we have everybody. And we will not agree on everything together, but me, I see the glass half full and not half empty. Some of us talk about a half empty glass, but I will talk about a half full glass. And that's what we need to look at it. We will not agree on everything, but we will not fall out. We will build together. And thank you very much. And watch this place, because the launch will be at the Civic Hall on the 25th of January, 11 o'clock in the morning. You ask why 11 o'clock? You've got to catch the media. You want the maximum media coverage. And that is why it's 11 o'clock in the morning. And we hope after the launch there, in the evening, we will have a little thing, another celebration here. Now, the Civic Hall only holds 220 people. So, start booking your holiday, because we need to see you there. And thank you very much, and hand you back over to Gary to run the rest of the program. Thank you.
A lot of people might be asking the question that they haven't been consulted, they weren't involved, etc. It was a thing that evolved through the Black History Month and things of that nature. So what you really want to do, you really want to get involved, you want to watch this space and just add your support. I mean, we're open to support from everybody and anybody who wants to get involved, because it's a massive project and there'll be loads to do. So if anybody wants to get involved, leave your names, watch this space and just help to support the project.
This is our second annual Christmas concert, and that will be on the 18th of December. So make a note in your diaries now for the 18th of December. Last year we had a very good program, so I'm sure you will love to come and hear the New World Steel Orchestra again. And the group, actually we have three groups. You heard the group one, the smaller set, the young ones. This earlier, we now have group 3, which is a combination of this is made up of the older group, those over 11. We also have an adult group, and we welcome new adults to this group. They practice on a Wednesday night. Anyway, they are ready, so I leave you to listen to our group 3. This is New World Steel Orchestra. and Melville. Melville is one of our tutors. The arranger, the other tutor and generally arranger, Dudley Nesbitt, he isn't here today, but he's taking a short break. But of course, when you come to our practice, you will meet both Dudley and Melville, and they'll be very happy to teach you all about playing the steel pan. The adults now are going to do 3 songs for us.
stands for Trade and Justice and Debt Action Leeds. But what our overall aim is to fight against global poverty around the world, particularly in the global south. And what we were going to talk to you about today, we have a speaker, Ade Adesoji from Nigeria, who's going to talk about a little bit about neo-colonization and how many of our countries have already been colonized once, but now there is a new colonization, which is an economic enslavement, which puts us in the power of the richer northern countries. So I'd like you to give a warm welcome to Ade from Nigeria, who's going to tell us a little bit more about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Adesoji, and I'm a student at the University of Leeds, doing a research degree in development studies. I will count my projects today to please listen to me with an open mind. This piece of clothing I'm wearing is a gift from my mom, and it means a lot to me. That's why today you see me wearing it. 4 years ago, 29th of August to be specific, I had a discussion with some of my colleagues. Then I was in this country, I was in Amsterdam. I happened to be the only black person in my class of about 30-something students. It was a cultural shock for me, you know, looking at people and being the only black person. But something happened, and we were having some sort of informal discussion one evening, and one of us came up and said something. We were discussing about colonization actually, and he said that we black people should be grateful to the whites for colonizing us, because prior to the advent of the white people in our communities, that were not civilized and they met us naked. Quite unfortunately, we couldn't agree on what he meant by civilization, so I didn't bother myself about that. But the next day in class, what I did was that I put on this clothing and asked my dear friend, if the white people met with black people naked, can he, for instance, account for what I was putting on? Is there anything like this in white history? Like my brother now, is there anything like that in white history? You know, the history I've studied all my life, there's nothing that tells us that white people used to put on batiks like this before. I might be wrong, but I stand to be challenged. Quite unfortunately, sorry about that. He has no answer to that. But why I said that you should please listen to me with an open mind today is that no matter what they think about us, so I know there's some white people here, please listen to me with an open mind. No matter what people think about us, no matter what they do to us, what matters now, what we think about ourselves and what we do to ourselves as black people. I won't waste my time talking about colonization or all the stuff. I know a lot of things have been said about it, and a lot of things has been done about it. But what I want to pick out is that people who think that the process of our development, culturally, economically, politically, were not altered for better or for worse by colonization, got it wrong. Got it wrong in the sense that before colonization, we as black people, there's nothing they came to tell us about. There was nothing they came to teach us. There were nothing in particular they came to implant in our communities that we don't have before. There were a very nice system of communal living, which I see a lot today. There were a very good system of government. There's a very good judicial system, and we were really moving. History told us that the first university in this world were not Oxford or Cambridge or Harvard, but it was in Timbuktu, back in Mali, West Africa. History told us that the first black furnace, first printing press, were not located anywhere else, but in Africa, in different places, in Togo, in West Africa, in Egypt. Egypt, history told us that people were living in Egypt were not Arabs as we used to know them today. They were black people. So we have a history. And I was happy with that. I was reading Trevor Roper. Trevor Roper is an Oxford professor of history. And he said that there was no black history until the white people came. Unfortunately, over the years, due to events like this, we've proven him wrong. Wherever I may be today, God bless him. Coming back to my talk, sorry for this diversion, it's just something that's emotional. And it happened in a circumstance in which there were nobody to talk to them. That's why I break it. I will be talking today about neocolonization. Neocolonization in the sense that over the years, black communities, black countries, wherever we find ourselves, in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Asia, we've been independent for a while. In the sense that white people are dominating us politically, telling us the system of government we should run, telling us what to do and how to do it. I've been eating up the history, eating up the past for a while. In Haiti, it was in the 18th century, in Latin America. In Africa, it came to be in the early 60s, in which most of the countries, got independence. But why are we still like this? Why is it that if you watch BBC Today or CNN, and they want to talk about Africa, they will show, you will definitely see nothing like the process in which we black people are trying to launch ourselves technologically or all the stuff. What we will see is places like Sierra Leone, Darfur, malaria, then apartheid in South Africa, the problem in the north of Africa, and all this stuff. I don't blame them. Personally, I used to tell people that, look, I don't blame them. I don't blame anybody for anything good or bad that happens to me. And I don't expect we as a community to blame anybody for things that happen to us. And the reason I'm saying is that no matter what goes on in this world, if we can stand together as one, as black people, common destiny, we shall overcome. Coming to colonization and decolonization again, why is it that our countries, wherever we find ourselves, might be Jamaica, Haiti, Nigeria, Togo, and all this stuff, because we have the same problem, all this stuff. These are one of the issues my group campaigns about, and it's called the TIDA, Trade Injustice and Debt Action Leeds. Politically, we might be independent, but we still find this problem economically. And economically, in the sense that the rules of engagement now, okay, thank you. The rules of engagement now does not favor us development-wise. We are told to do this, do that, do that. Our products are underpriced. Our economy are open to competition that we can sustain with things we do and all this stuff. It's still going on. And everywhere you see, the same thing goes on back in Africa or the Caribbean or anywhere. This is the problem and these are the challenges we face today as black people. And no matter what, we should sit down and live up to it. People are doing it technologically before CNN and BBC and all this stuff. Now we have black channels in the UK, we have black channels on satellite, a lot of around the world. These are things we need to do. These are issues we need to address as black people, Neocolonization will not go away until we come together, no matter where we come from, no matter the community we are, no matter the society we are. We shouldn't be thinking about ourselves as Jamaican, American, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago. We don't think ourselves as a black nation. Moving forward, definitely we shall overcome. So unfortunately, the global economic system is against us today. In the sense that no matter what they do in the trade agreement and everything they do, it does not favor us as black people. Please, 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 we should stand up. It is not about black versus white, but it's about black empowerment. And these are what we should do. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ade. One of the main reasons that, as Ade was saying, that many of our countries around the world are enslaved to the richer north is because of institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. And these sorts of issues are what Tidal campaigns on. A lot of the time, the World Bank and the IMF will give loans to our countries and then attach lots of conditions to those loans, which means that we end up having to privatize our water or open up our borders to private companies from richer countries, which then put our local companies out of business. So if you are interested in finding out any more about these sorts of issues, or you would like to join or support the work of Tidal here in and around Leeds, then please do come over to the stall over here where we have Na, Lupe and Ade who can talk to you or answer any of your questions. Also, we have quite a few speakers in the project that I run from Africa and Latin America, but it would be really great to have some people from the West Indies who could come and maybe represent your country and give talks like this to other community groups. So if anybody's interested in that, then please do come over and have a chat with us. Apart from that, I'd just like to say a big thank you for having us here today. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Just in from Tidal and Ade.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lani Saho on stage. I'm from Gambia in the West Africa, playing historical instrument we locally call kora. And kora is played by the griots in Africa. And griots in Africa, they are the memories and the storytellers. And kora is a very old instrument. It is about 350 years old. Kora was made by a calabash and a cow skin, and the sticks of this mango tree. Kora is a one player, but there's a two player too, because it's having 22 strings, and I play 22 strings with my 4 fingers. But it sounds like a harp. Look like a little bit sitar. Kora is a 2 player, but there's a 1 player too, because when you are with your African wife in Africa, she can sit behind of the kora, starting knocking at the bottom of the kora. Or if you don't want it, you can still play alone. So this song I'm coming to play now, the name of the song is Mbalile. Mbalile is a Mandinka, which means I don't want to know what you have, but I want to know who you are. So before starting, I would like everybody to join hands together, ladies and gents, and give a big round of applause for this starting. A big round of applause, please. See ya, Palim malon ne jaliya de jayati. Jaliya de jayati. Jaliya mun adoleti. Ala lage. Wai sirabo jamage. Kobe kare baye. Ala la bara jana baye. Tare tare. Tare musibir tare ulula. Manin bedle ba. Sulwa jime, sulu surama kajara mabita. Besulu falana ma, bulana di dalam ada kriya. Maninya lalu akhir jalur, kone jaliya mo membagi. Wai ala lage, silawo jomage, kobe kare bai, ala la bara janto baila. Thank you.
That was a Lamin from the Gambia playing on the kora, an instrument which is 350 years old. And I'm very proud to see that we're holding on to our Haitian arts and our musical instruments. Very much so like the New World Orchestra, even though not so old. It's good to see. I for one was very glad to see that the Steelers are back on the road this year. And they will be playing some more later on.
another year of Black History Month again, and I've been everywhere. Everybody wants me there, so I'm doing my best. And you all know I'm Councillor for the Ward. And all I can say to those who put this program together, keep up the good work. And I must say, the orchestra is getting bigger and better. And I'm really proud of you all, especially you young ones. And I'm being asked to join, but I can't find the time. I'll try my best. But I'm really envious, and I can do with something to relax, so I'm thinking about joining. And to everybody else who wish to join, as Arthur said, it's open. It's open. And there is lots of things going on, as Arthur has explained before about our bicentenary for next year. To come to the Civic Hall, you must book early, because they're very strict on the numbers. For January, I think you said it was Arthur, January. They're very strict at Civic Hall with numbers, so you need to book. They will not go over the numbers. If it's 220, it'll be 220. And we need to support it and tell all our families and friends and people in the community who still, that we work with, lots of people still don't know about Black History Month, so we need to educate them. And to the young people, I would like to say, get on the internet, look up Black inventors, and your eyes will be open. You'll be shocked and surprised of what Black people's done. If you open your fridge, it's a Black person. Your mobile phone, it's a Black person. Many, many things. Get on the internet. There's a world of history, Black history there. And for all you adults as well, because I was shocked myself. I went on there to provide something with regards to inventors, and I myself was shocked. I couldn't believe half of the things that we, as Black people, have invented, our foreparents. So people say we don't read and we're not clever. We're clever. We've got so much talent, it's unbelievable. So all I can say, get on the internet, there's a world of information, and you will be shocked and surprised of what we have invented. We might have our, the newspaper might portray us as bad, especially in Chapeltown, but let me tell you, we in Chapeltown got talent, and we're very clever. And, you know, it's something that we need to big up Chapeltown. When they say anything, oh, Chapeltown, big up ourselves, because we're beautiful people and we should be proud of ourselves. So all I can say, another Black History Month has passed, but a lot more to come. So enjoy yourself.
Right, to close out Leeds Black History Month, we're going to have a young lady called Maggie, I do believe, who's going to come up and sing for us Amazing Grace. Would everybody like to stand up for this, please? And join me. We all know Amazing Grace. Stand up and join me.
Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to sing this song. I'm not sure if I can sing it anymore because after seeing that display of dancing with Ada, I'm not sure if I can do it anymore. But still, I'll do my best. It was lovely, Ada.
The sound that the sound that said a wretch like me, oh Lord, I once was lost, oh, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see, oh yeah.
That's the one with the compliment. That's the end of our show. Awesome to you now. You were our singer, Handel, Lamin, who were leaders in the drama project, and yourselves too, because of these events and the event without yourselves. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for coming out.